Stories that are untold, underreported, and all-out inspirational. Carey Pena reports.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to Carey Pena Reports on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play, and for watching our shows on YouTube and Facebook. You can always see all of our podcasts and shows at inspiredmedia360.com. On this show, we interview people who have truly inspirational stories to share and are agents of positive change. And the woman with me in studio today is a true powerhouse, Denise Resnik. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about your background. You have a very well-respected marketing firm, DRA Collective, that you founded back in 1986. And you are also the co-founder of the Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center, known as SARC. You have achieved so much in the field of autism, and this is a personal mission for you. Today, we're going to be talking about something exciting that is going on that you've been working so hard for. It's called First Place AZ. Before we talk about that, though, I want to share with people a little bit of your story about your son, Matt.
Matt is 27, and he has autism. He was diagnosed when he was 2, and at that time we were told to love, accept, and plan to institutionalize our son. That was also a time that the incidence of autism was being diagnosed in 1 in 2,500 children. Today, it's 1 in 59. There was no internet to speak of in terms of autism and resources. There really wasn't a lot to go on beyond Dustin Hoffman's performance in Rain Man and the few pages I learned about autism in my Psych 101 class when I was at ASU. And we didn't really know where to turn for help, so we turned to each other. We turned to other mothers and fathers and started a parent support group. And that was good for a while, but we needed to do more. And that's when we formed SARC in 1997.
When you found out this diagnosis that, as you point out, was still new at the time and people were trying to figure out, can't imagine being told, we suggest that you institutionalize your son.
I went to some of those places and I ran away as fast as I possibly could. I'll never forget what I saw, what I smelled, how they made me feel. And I committed back then and remain committed now that we're going to find a better way. And I couldn't imagine our son living in any one of those spaces, and the heartache for the families who felt that was the only option.
Now, when I introduced you, I called you an agent of positive change. Do you think that's what you are?
I think so, but I put an S on that because I don't do anything alone. And so truly surrounding myself with other like-minded families and forces of good and forces of change and really, really smart people to help us achieve that mission for SARC, which was to ensure that that individuals with autism and their families would be supported throughout their lifetimes and to advance discoveries and find more answers. And I knew the day would come that would mean real estate, but we couldn't start there. We really had to grow up with Matt and others like him.
What has his journey been like?
Well, Matt has more classic autism. He struggles with both receptive and expressive communication, but he is super smart and a very hardworking man. He likes to play Scrabble, not only to play the words, but also to tie the score as many times as possible. So he's calculating the numbers every which way. Beyond that, Matt works at Smile Biscotti, which he co-founded with my husband, Rob, and me. And SMILE is an acronym for Supporting My Independent Living Enterprise. And it is a Biscotti product that is sold in the Valley and online. And one of our biggest sellers is Pete's Coffee and Tea at Sky Harbor Terminal 4, where his product is the second top sales item of all their passive goods. And it is truly a feel good versus feel sorry for me. It is about what Matt and his coworkers can do, not what they can't. And boy, to see them in action, cracking 600 eggs in less than an hour, packaging and labeling and, sealing biscotti, it's amazing. And it does promote that idea of how we create a more inclusive community and allow people with different abilities to find their rightful place in our community as productive, contributing citizens.
Your focus has been on what happens when he ages out, if you will. And how do I make sure as his mom that he's able to go on and live a great life? And when you started looking around and thinking about this, you realized that there was a real huge void that needed to be filled.
That's true, and it had to be a dual focus because we had to stay present with Matt as he was matriculating through his school years and focusing on whatever skills we could possibly develop with him. And I think that's why he's so hardworking, is that his life has been about things that, that he's really had to work hard to gain. And all the different schedules of all the different therapies, from applied behavioral analysis and speech therapy, occupational therapy, recreational writing therapy, art therapy, music therapy, the list goes on. Anything that would bring forth language and connections for Matt. And so when he graduated, it was very important to us to figure out something for him to do. And that's when we created Smile Biscotti. But at the same time, we had been working for years on trying to find that real estate solution, because my marketing and communications firm actually has focused on real estate and community development over the last 33 years. My start was at the Del Webb Corporation, the grandfather of senior housing. And Del Webb did that some 50 years ago. And if you think about it, we are today with housing for special populations, where Del Webb and Ed Robeson and Sharon Harper and all were decades ago. We had few options back then. And now you look around and we have all these different locations and price points, amenities, services, because being a senior doesn't really tell you what a person needs in their housing. That's so individualized. And in the same way, having autism doesn't tell you what Matt or others like him might need in their real estate. So we studied and studied. We actually studied over 100 different residential properties across the country in collaboration with Arizona State University and the Urban Land Institute. And we were looking for something that we could bring back to Arizona, something that would be replicable and scalable and financially sustainable. And while we found some good things, we didn't find the model. We did, however, set forth 10 design goals and a collection of guidelines, and then we committed to creating the innovative model that would lead this new wave of real estate.
And thus, First Place AZ was born. Describe to people what this is.
Well, First Place AZ is a nonprofit that became a sister nonprofit to SARC when it became evident to us that it was important to separate the real estate and the risk tolerance for real estate from supports and research and services. And so in 2012, we created this sister nonprofit with a bold vision to ensure that housing and community options would be as bountiful for people with autism and other neurodiversities as they are for everyone else, that really we create a marketplace. And we committed to leading by example. And we created First Place Phoenix, which is our first model property in the heart of the community, within walking distance of light rail and public transit. It's 81,000 square feet, 4 stories, contemporary modern property that has 55 units with a capacity of 79 people. And it's beautiful. It includes 3 different components: a transition academy for students or participants, apartments for people of all different abilities, and also a global leadership institute where we can advance this important work and really build a marketplace based on study and data collection and supportive public policy.
Why is this so innovative, what you've been able to achieve?
It's innovative on a number of different levels. One, it represents public, private, nonprofit, and philanthropic collaboration. It's clear that we need to develop a marketplace, but the private sector isn't willing to take all that risk right now. This is a nascent marketplace. People haven't seen the future or the future that they want. Therefore, it's really hard to study what the demands are going to be. Government has been spending a lot of money in this space, but we can't rely on government with its dwindling resources and the increase in the population to carry the burden. And plus, there's so many restrictions within government, it's hard to be truly innovative. And then within the philanthropic community, we've been able to enlist tremendous support for social capital so we could be innovative. And the nonprofit truly has brought all those other pieces together. So that's one of the ways that we are innovative. The other way is by creating truly a market decision for people with different abilities to be able to choose where to live. You know, when Matt was in school, he got placed in a classroom every year, and then they were going to place him in a job, and someday I heard they were going to place him in a home. Well, what about choosing? And what about having enough choices out there that people can look forward to? Because if you can create a more hopeful future, getting through some of those school years or even some of those nights can be eased quite a bit. And right now people don't know why they're working so hard or what they might be saving for because they haven't seen a future that they truly want. And that's what we believe we're creating here in Phoenix.
How does it feel seeing it come to fruition?
It is exhilarating, it is exciting, it is anxiety-producing and nerve-wracking all at the same time. We refer to ourselves as a learning organization, and our residents are teaching us things every single day. And as much as we have planned for things like community life and all the activities of the days of the week, whether it's Taco Tuesday or Wellness Wednesday or Thirsty Thursday or Feel Good Friday, you know, the best kind of community life are the times that happen organically. People who moved into First Place as strangers and are now friends and neighbors, who are working out together in the fitness room or hanging out together in the Cardinals game room, or perhaps enjoying Meditation Monday in the Zen room. And it's not just about their life at First Place. It's how we as a supportive housing developer connect people to the greater community, the supportive community, this one and only community that PBS NewsHour acknowledged as the most autism-friendly city in the world.
I didn't realize that.
They produced a 2-part series in 2016 that acknowledged all the work that was happening in our community through SARC and then First Place and this very collaborative community of other autism organizations and organizations in general who have recognized that everybody can do something to help this cause and to create more opportunities for people to succeed.
You know, I'd imagine when you first received the diagnosis and probably over the course of the years that people would tell you they're sorry. At some point, did you get sick of hearing people say they were sorry because this was your son and you are clearly so proud of the now man that he is? Well, when I walked down memory lane, you know, I did feel sorry for myself at first. I was sad. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what to do. I remember finding Matthew one early morning in the closet by himself, this little boy. And I remember getting in there with him and thinking, you know, I don't know if I want to come out of this closet today either. It was really hard. We had chapters and verses of all the different Matthewisms and things that would happen when he chewed out the back seat of my car over years of, you know, having to protect the leather and protect him, not having any buttons on the remote controls because he had chewed them all. And so there were some really hard times, and there were times that I did feel sorry. Sorry that he had to struggle so much. Sorry that our daughter, just 17 months older, was struggling with us because after all, he was getting so much attention. And my husband and I worked really hard to create a family life and to make sure that we weren't defined by Matt's autism, but it was difficult. And so we did a lot of divide and conquer, and I tried to be the best mother I could be to each of these amazing children. And I'm super proud of our daughter who has grown up to be a super amazing mother and woman, and who is going to be ordained as a rabbi this summer. Oh, wow.
And Rabbi Carey Resnik Jacobson. And she's grown up to be an incredibly special woman who was very supportive of Matt and very supportive of us. But we know we all struggled a bit, but I also will tell you that we gained so much as a family, as our love for each other, as the many lessons that we learned about how to conquer our fears and how to lead with our priorities and those we love, and how to impact the rest of our community at the same time.
What can be learned from your story?
Never give up. And know that you're never alone. And that when you're in your darkest moments, that there is likely someone out there sharing those same moments with you, and that we are absolutely stronger together. And whether you call it First Place or Treasure House or Luna Azul or 29 Palms or Rainbow Acres or some of these incredible opportunities in our community, that we are stronger together, and we will demonstrate a new marketplace, leading by example, setting a bar, and recognizing that different people need different options. And when you think about it, very few of us live in the same place forever. And aptly named, First Place may be where individuals live after they leave the family home, and then they may go on to their next place. But I will tell you, some residents likely will live at First Place forever, and that is their choice. That is their option. And that will be the peace of mind for parents like me, including me, for a very long time.
You are a true agent of change, and you're not someone who brags on all your accomplishments, but what you have been able to accomplish, first just as a mom fighting for her son, and now as an incredibly inspirational woman fighting for so many sons and daughters. You've raised over $70 million, you and all the community around you. April is Autism Awareness Month. What do you want people to know?
Everybody can do something, whether it is looking around your place of work and acknowledging that there may be a job here for someone who has a different ability, or maybe cultural training to help welcome them in, or maybe you're standing in line at the grocery store and someone needs just a little more time making that change, or maybe they've come up short on their change, that we can all benefit from kindness. We can all benefit from slowing down just a little bit more to process what people need and what we get in return. And whether it's a job, whether it's healthcare, whether it's a residential opportunity or an industry, we are all being affected by individuals with autism. And it's not one family at a time. It is all of us working together to create better lives for people and for ourselves, because it truly is a privilege, and there are so many benefits to and so many joys when you can help someone else succeed.
And where can people find out more about your efforts?
firstplaceaz.org, or for SARC, autismcenter.org.
And Matt is turning 28 in June, did you say?
He is.
So happy birthday to him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it. And thanks to all of you for listening and for watching Carey Pena Reports. Today's show produced and engineered by Shannon Hernandez, brought to you by Inspired Media 360. Until next time, stay inspired.